Gotcha. How's camera one looking? We'll try to see if I can get all of them. For 3 young. He's adjusting his headset.
Okay, that's on. Somebody need to do our hair and makeup.
Everybody hear me? Okay. So, like I said, my name is Dayna Galganski. I teach in the broadcast production track in mass communication. And specifically, I teach sports broadcasting. If anyone is interested in getting involved with the sports broadcasting and mass comm, feel free to talk to me after, or we have some information outside. That's something else that's also
I'm Wiedenfeld. I'm an assistant professor of mass communication. I teach film history and criticism in media, and I'm doing a research project on Hollywood.
My name is Emily Rover, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Kinesiology, as well as the Department Chair of Kinesiology. And I teach a gender and sport course, and also a contemporary issues sport course. My area of research is actually on the psychosocial barriers to women's participation.
I'm Tom Bodon, I'm the chair of mass communication. I'm invited here because I think I'm going to have some here who was alive in 1970. Happening in 1970, I witnessed at the event live. I'm also here because I'm a member of the Society of Political History.
So, the movie.
Sure. Sure. Well, so the movie is about the sexes, which is the name of the special event that happened in 1973, which was a tennis match between Billie Jean King, who was one of the top tennis players of the day, like Serena Williams in 1972, against Bobby Riggs, who was a retired, a former professional player, played by Steve Carell, who's out there. So it became this huge media event to have the two of them play in the Astrodome on ABC, one of the biggest viewing audiences for a sport event in the whole decade. This is like as many people as the Super Bowl watch this.
I still the most watched tennis match.
So the movie is, that's kind of the main event at the end of it. And then there's a second plot, which we got to see at the beginning of, was about the professional women's tour and their struggle with the directors of the tour who did not want to pay people prize money. So Billie Jean King and those group of women started their own tour that has been competing with the men. And so it's about the empowerment of women to form their own tour as entrepreneurs and as a group at the same time that Billie Jean King is waging this battle of the sexes with Bobby Riggs. Happy ending. She wins. The argument. She wins. And of course the tour is successful. That's as good as I can
I appreciate it. So Dr. Bodon, why don't you kind of, since you're the self-proclaimed only one that's died in the 70s, I will tell you that I was not alive in the 70s. I thought that
Very young.
So, but the 70s was kind of a time where there was a lot of change happening. There was, Billie Jean King wasn't the only athlete that was really making a stand on this.
Yeah, the 1970s is a very interesting time period. Because the decade, the pivot of change. There was a lot of groundbreaking movements in the late 60s. And in the 70s, they came to reality. And one of the big movements was the sexual revolution. And the sexual revolution was equal rights for women, contraception in the pill, the acceptance of abortion, and so on and so forth. And it was really the decade of the woman, led by people like Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan. And that decade was cut short. And it was cut short by 1983 with the HIV/AIDS. Before that, the sexual revolution was something great, something that we could compete for. And then in 1983, sex equates to death. So that was the end of the movement for at least one of the decades. And speaking up right now with the Me Too movement, but there was almost a 30-year time period when the movement went to a halt. The movie starts with on that part, we have seen that part of the movie, with a false assumption, I think, that when Billie Jean King said, we have as many people in the stadium as men. That is still the truth. But for instance, the ticket at Wimbledon right now for the next Wimbledon game is going to be $6,000 for the male final, and only $1,600 for the female final. So there is still a big inequality on the price of the ticket that the audience pay. However, the price money for both female and male players are equal.
We're talking about the equality of pay. In the movie, was that Billie Jean King first woman ever win $100,000 prize. And again, just in those 10 minutes, it got brought up at least twice. So the movie was clearly trying to identify that as a point of And Bobby Riggs even made the comment, something along the lines of, she's not happy with that. She's supposed to just take it and be happy with whatever kind of the sentiment that I got from that.
But Bobby Riggs, when he was a player, he was amateur. When the Open era of the U.S. Open in 1968 to professional and amateur were only played. So before that, Bobby Riggs in late 1940 was an amateur. It was even reasonable, but he didn't play. So we have to make money.
So he was never professional.
He was a professional. He was a professional after time the Hajj, but never a medicine.
But because of Billie Jean King and kind of her path and her fight for pay and all of that, in the 80s, it was common for women to make more than $100,000 in prize money. And in the 90s, it jumped into the millions, where women were making prize money, profiting millions of dollars in prize money. And then in 2007, all of the Grand Slams finally got on board to pay the women and the men the same amount. And that recently has come up and has become a point of contention recently. There was the CEO, I think, of French Open or the World Aerostat facility, made some comments about how women should be thankful for Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal because without them, women would be nowhere, essentially. He used some phrasing and words that were implicative of sexual innuendos. And then, Novak Djokovic, he, of course, said, piggyback off of that as well. Women should fight for what they want, and women should fight for what we want. We want for the women, which is the boil it down. And then, it became kind of a tough match between Serena, Venus versus Novak, the CEO, Gold Arrows, but still a point of contention. Even in this world of, we have equality and pay, still fight.
Yeah, Serena Williams, an article she has $81 million a day, 39 million bank. Novak Djokovic is one of them, and in the bank is 12. So there's still a huge difference.
So throughout the movie also, the theme of sexism is very prevalent. There are multiple references to women, they should stay in the kitchen, in the bedroom. I like women in the bedroom, that type of thing, explicitly said. And that was actually part of the belief of Bobby Riggs' kind of motto throughout this whole battle of the sexist series. He dubbed himself the chauvinist pig, male chauvinist pig. My question is, because I wasn't alive at the time, was that, how close was the movie to really capturing what he was like? And even Billie Jean King, how close was the movie to how they were portrayed, how they actually were, how they played out? I think it's you, but anybody that has
What I've read of, Billie Jean King, I've read a few clips of her talking about the film, and she was very involved in the film. So there are parts of it that are very, most of it is quite accurate. But there are pieces that are sensationalized for fantasy purposes. The general themes, are accurate footage that they do throughout the film in some ways. Bobby Reed's character, they get into that, and how the client how it was, I understand, but more of that question after the body.
No, it was so like that, it was in the show. But the thing that was interesting at the time was there was a couple, Jimmy Connor on the Crusader at the same time. And it was a perfect couple from the 50s, it was a generation away. And then there was Billie Jean King, was a new generation. The Crusader was a pretty long, and Jimmy Connor was kind of a macho, redneck kind of thing. It was the couple from the 50s and 60s. And there was Billie Jean King and Bobby Reed, who were kind of different.
Well, they weren't a couple.
They were not, but they were different. On the audience, did not really like them. Neither of them were liked. They were not liked because Bobby Reed was kind of a fool. And Billie Jean King was not competent. So they were both very, Billie Jean King was kind of too serious, and Bobby Reed was too much of a fool. So people watched that more because of that and the Battle of the Sexes, because they knew that Billie Jean King was going to win, even though magnitude and love. Billie Jean King was obviously very clear that she was birthday, and everybody knew her. So it was kind of watching a big show, rather than watching two heroes and love. I mean, that's a feeling I have.
I think the movie tries to make them both sympathetic. Steve Carell playing Bobby Riggs. He comes off as a clown, very rather boyish. He can't stop his impulse to gamble. He loves just all of the attention. And we're sympathetic to him in the end because he doesn't. We see that it's just a show. He knows he's in a big show. He's playing it. He doesn't really have that much ill will towards women and really getting us behind the scenes with him makes him not so much a villain as really a sideshow. The real villain are the tournament directors who are denying equal pay. They're entirely hidden and behind this facade of market logic. Of course, Billie Jean King is going to be sympathetic to everybody in this film. They tried an outfit in this film, but so beautiful. What we'll see what's happening.
You know, Davis at the time had a lot of superstars. We say on the main side there was Baltimore, Jimmy Connor, was Baltimore, Jimmy Connor, but it was, the huge personality on the Billie Jean King did not play that role of entrepreneur. She was not an entrepreneur, she was great.
She just played the win.
She just played the winner. She was great. She was winning the best. But it was not entertaining. And people were watching the music. But that game was very interesting.
And can you say something maybe about tennis? It's an interesting, this issue of comparing pay comes up in tennis, which can have the participation of both men and women on the same site as part of the same. That might not happen.
Well, I think tennis is one of those sports because there aren't men have
It
opportunities.
makes
Yes, and mix as well. But it gives a good comparison But you saw that when they were in the room, they were playing class and Coach Jack about the pay, and then they started questioning him. And you see them making the comparison. So it becomes this good example where you can actually make a comparison, even though they try to say, then they try to push it back on them. It's very, very common to say. And when I was watching the film, like I said, I teach gender and sport course, and on the very first couple days of class, I asked them a question to students, to undergraduate students, and I asked them, do you prefer to watch sports? Very open. It's a loaded question. Then we get into a conversation. But the comments that Jack and Tom and back are very common. That men's is more exciting, men's is faster, men's is stronger, men's is more talked about. And so it's this comparison that we made. And so in terms of from an equal rights, you saw that you keep trying to pull them back to where you're saying that it's only 1/8 of that so this 1/8 of what we know in the stadium, that's not true. So she was trying to use it to her advantage, rightfully so, she should have. So it does become this good way to compare, although you have to be very careful with that because women oftentimes food when things become comparison, we are comparing different entities. So it shouldn't necessarily be comparison.
It's always comes up for me in random conversations about something like basketball.
Right.
Guys are always saying, oh, you know, women's basketball, there aren't dunks, so it's not interesting. Well, if you want to watch dunks, you just watch highlights. What's actually dramatic and exciting about games is the game itself and the drama of that competition. Which, if anybody watched the women's final or the championship game yesterday, it could not have a more exciting game than that. But it's interesting that somebody like the NCAA, we'll talk about timeline that they don't hold those tournaments on the same sites the way that tennis does. Tennis, they may alternate days and courts, but it's the same events. In the Olympics as well. It's all together.
But in babies, at the time, which I feel is done now, but prime time was with the next. That's evening prime time. I think the men, women used to come Saturday, the afternoon, the men, the summertime.
Because of the basketball, the final for the women was yesterday at 5 p.m. Final for the men's is tonight in hour and a half. Yes.
On the
For my opinion.
That's why it's so hard. It becomes impossible to compare them. And you have to think about the issue of sexism at the bottom of it. Is say, oh, well, it's been more exciting to watch the men's. Say, well, is that because everyone around you has this excitement in them, and there's maybe this tradition, culture that that's built up that excitement over the years? So, do you ever really go into just seeing the game from a blank slate? Or do you bring in this assumption that men are more exciting to watch, and so then that experience becomes more exciting for you because you have that sexist to start out with?
I think it does. I think we define excitement by, we define what sport should look like by a male standard. So we define sport as being masculine, and by looking at the way that the men's team does, which is basketball. And so when you want to compare women to that, like I said before, they lose, because that's not a fair comparison. It is different. It's different in different games. And so that's why that's part of it. do break this culture. There's a hype surrounding it. There are parties associated with this whole culture with it. It's probably rare to hear, generally speaking, that people are getting together to watch the Final Four or the finals. Whereas that's a very common thing for men in terms of that culture surrounding it. But we do have, when we're a young age, we have begin to learn what we think of men playing sport and starts at an early age with the boy that you give to a young boy versus a young girl. How we mark children and types of activities that are appropriate for them.
So, talking about Title IX was initially passed and was enacted in Congress in 1972. And then in 1973 is when Billie Jean King won the Battle of the Sexes. Then 1974 comes, and then we see the first scholarship given. So, and then it progressed on, and there was other court cases and litigation to really solidify Title IX as what it is. But without
So when you want me to zoom in,
the
or
Battle of
zoom
the
in, or
Sexes,
what?
doesn't progress that quickly.
Okay.
Definitely. That's part of the movement. Another great film to check out is called Heroes of Daisy. It's about what happened at Yale University in the early 70s. And women's voting was not given the same accommodation as men. They were becoming sick, they had pneumonia, in that area of the country on water, wet, soaked from sweat and water. But the women marched into the AB's office with Title IX written on their backs and their shirts off. We're making a very, very important stand. But these are the types of things that were happening during this time. One pretty significant example of Battle of the Sexes, but it absolutely is symbolic part of that push. It wasn't until 1979 that we actually started enforcing Title IX. So while we know it is past in 72, it was 7 years later that we were holding the institution accountable.
I went to Yale for grad school, and I was stunned to find out that in the 60s, that wasn't until the 60s that women were even admitted. It's amazing to think that you could have one of the top universities out there, women alive until the 60s.
But talking about Yale, talking about Yale and talking about tennis, there was a great event which happened in the 70s. It was Bernie Richards. Anybody want to say Bernie Richards?
I can't look at it off though. That's what it is.
Yeah, the French actor. So it was, his name was Richard Rankin. And he was the captain of the Yale tennis man. And then he decided to change sex to a woman once again, which was also an ophthalmologist, an eye doctor. And then he went on the women's school in 1977 and played his never really won, but he made it to semi-final. The woman was very sad because she had a lot of testosterone. The woman said that it was cheating. But those were the changes and discussion on tennis was always very open to battle of the sexes, women's liberation, gave one of the first great things Wiedenfeld, the 20 was a US Open champion, was open homosexual in 1920. So things was always open. So changing something. 20 champions.
That was with tennis, Title IX, I think sports are just the most visible, one of those visible sites of the broader issue of civil rights. Title IX, it's not really about sports. It's one of the civil, it's part of the Civil Rights Act, and
It's within a broader
educational. Yeah. So the broad idea of equal treatment, that everybody who's citizen should be treated. Not saying that people are equal. Of course, everybody's unique and there's all these differences, but everybody as a citizen should be treated equally, and for their educational opportunities. Institutions that receive federal funding should give equal opportunities to everyone. So sports, and something like the Battle of the Sexes becomes a place where that's visible, the inequalities that had been there before. If they were not giving admission to women in criminal justice, that is just not something that was on broadcast television. But that change happened too, I believe.
Another question for you, question about the is Nolenkin or Casper Semenya, who is fascinated. Yes, she's an interface. What are your view on that? What should the Olympic Games or NCAA do about
We talked about her mother South Africa, and we talked about her athlete, and we also talked about gender work. This is talk about this being time in that era. I always call my students who are kinesiologists, boys kinesiologists, and I say that we're talking about transgender athletes in particular. This is something that you will be addressing or venues that you are working in terms of law and access, in terms of what is fair, in terms of the question it's fair to have someone who may have a higher testosterone level. So the NCAA does have specific policies pertaining to transgender athletes in terms of whether someone is transitioning from male to female, where the restrictions are much tighter for obvious reasons happen, and then for female to male, where the restrictions are less in terms of what stage is someone transitioning. And there's also different laws depending on the state that you're in. So for example, in the state of California, they could base it off of how someone self-identifies. Whereas in the state of Texas, it's much more restricted. So for example, some of the may have seen about the wrestler in the state of Texas, for national states, or the states. And he won, but wants to wrestle with the men, but isn't permitted. State of Texas requires the We definitely bodies like in play. They are developed with molecules to protect for individuals. And then the biggest issue is
Yeah, I mean, what really bothers me on what really starts, people who are interested by birth, you know, we don't want to prevent it. I mean, that would be absolutely serious. But then on the other hand, at least say it there. So it's a big problem because we can atrocious in working on drama.
Well, the other issue that I thought of is not all sports, or the purpose of all sports is elite competition. Of course, the rules of sports are all arbitrary. Sports is artificial. You come up with these rules, and you try to do things to make fair competition. It can come down to the bodies of those people. How old are you? What sexual characteristics do you have? There's those rules that are trying to make the competition on the field as fair as possible. But competition and winning is not the only thing about sports. There can be just kind of great recreation through those things.
Yes, but most athletes actually think like that. Most athletes do it
Well, the high
their own way. And then they said that I understand why. I mean, we should not say that such a person gives us a good time to grow. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
But I'm saying that yeah, everybody who plays sports wants to win, but most people lose. This is sports. Sports teaches you how to lose if you're lost more than anything else. So, yeah, there is some other values associated with it, of community, friendship, fellowship, exercise, hard work, perseverance, and all those things. If you focus on, what I'm saying is, if you focus more on some of those other values and not on, then you the question of sex and age and segregation different populations of people does not always have to be present.
I think we do focus on issue data. Being concerned is it fair? The equity of it. It's almost having a basis biological thing. There's a lot of aspects of sport that are unfair. So that benefit or privilege others, some individuals over others. So, but we are in our society very want to polarize. We want to ensure that we want to know someone's sex. We want to be able to, that is a female, that is a male. And we're now in a time where we are starting to talk about these issues, and we start familiar with her, and Google her, and Google what happened in terms of the policing of her body and how she was treated in the media. And there's really some great research on this as well. Sports studies, I mean, it's pretty horrific how she was treated in the mass media and obviously behind closed doors, which is subjected to in terms of who she is.
Yeah, the only thing in Rio, the commentator when she won, she didn't have everything. So they said, well, we are not sure she's really a woman.
The fact that this question comes up is, for me, why sports is so important to politics and civil rights. It's that okay, equal, everybody gets for democracy, equal treatment, that's great. So maybe with that equal treatment idea, we can just not think about people's bodies, just treat them as, everyone has this soul floating around. Well, that would be great in the ideal, but it definitely is impossible in sports not to think about people's bodies. And it's a way of making clear to us how bodies, people's skin colors, their sexual orientation, their sex, their gender, how those are on some unconscious or habitual level a part of all public interactions. So if we're going to have equal treatment for people, it has to be visible that we're talking about this and saying, okay, we have some bad habits. What are we going to do to address those bad habits and make better ones?
I actually have a perspective on that. Because I was a bowler. I went to college on bowling. Bowling is completely 100% created by talent. Without talent, there is no So I bowled on the club side and usually. So I have kind of both ideas of women being forced to compete with men and also women having more opportunities than men, which is an interesting dynamic. But in bowling, it's not so much because of how intermingled everything is on local levels and state levels when the tournaments are in co-ed. It doesn't start really splitting apart until we get to the national. It starts going national. So it's less about men versus women in bowling. But where the dynamic comes in is left-handed versus right-handed. So if you're a left-handed bowler, you can average 30 pairs solely because just the dynamics of the ranking and how it works out. So it's interesting how.
Which side of the model?
I mean, I didn't have a choice, but I was a right-handed. That's what but also regarding the Title IX bowling, there was this one, while I was still a student athlete, I forget the whole setting, but I was in Johnson Crossing actually, and there was kind of like an interactive session there was a boy that came up to me, super into bowling, he wanted to bowl, he was talking about how he was going to bowl, he was going to be a Division I national champion, NCAA, academic All-American, and all of these things. And my reaction to him was, you can certainly be all of these things, but you need interest in the national bowling conference, the governing body, because men don't have bowling or NCAA at all. So, in the moment that I said that, his mom immediately goes, gives one of those annoying, frustrated, runs at me. And I didn't say it out loud, but my initial reaction was, well, it must be terrible to not have custody just because of your gender. And so, but I was looking back on it, retrospectively, I still can't figure out how is the right way to do it. But I never want to tell anyone to do this. But I still can't come up with what the best way is. No, I think I'm playing it through. You feel for him. He doesn't get it. How maybe middle school. Okay, so he doesn't probably get it that much. Likely, not experience, have that experience, not really comprehending what it might not be, but it might be like not having experience. So the mother, so how would you describe her?
She kind of grunted at me, like I was,
Like you shouldn't have done that, or?
yeah, like I was bringing on this parade, or that I was like, you know, halting myself. I don't really know what her motives were, but she wasn't happy that I corrected him. He said he was confused or this way.
I actually don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I probably would have done the same. I just would have corrected the boy, and not in a, you know,
Right,
in a appropriate
and
manner.
aggressive or
Right, yeah.
derogatory. So, yeah. Do you all have any questions or comments?
Do you have your own story to share,
Yeah.
like, please?
Are there any tennis players out there? Yeah?
I played high school.
Have you seen the movie? Or was this movie here? Oh my God.
Is there a way that to turn on the lights? Or are they what's the switch?
I like being on stage.
Oh,
You guys might
somebody-
be sorry not to see the movie, but we got to finish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I play tennis. I saw the movie when it came out. It was really good. Oh, do I need to stand up? It was really good. I think the movie talked a really good deal about equal pay and just kind of what that looks like in athletics, and kind of opened my eyes because I guess I really didn't look at like the focus of it a lot, and I didn't really honestly care a huge deal because I'm not professional, of course, and so it kind of led for an open conversation, a good conversation for kind of what that looks like even now. And I know there was a lot of issues back then, but kind of issues now still in that. So I thought it was a really good movie.
I kind of agree with you that I know the story of battle for sexism, know the impact that it has on multiple battles, society, culture, but I didn't really get it until I watched the movie. It did a really good job of picture of how important this match really was for so many different reasons.
Robbie?
I didn't see the movie, so it's not for me to ask a question. One of the questions I would have, just based upon the limited scenes that I saw, is how is this different from typical sports films in this decade? Because it seems to me like the traditional sports game or movie would have a protagonist, an antagonist, the protagonist is typically masculine, person who has to even, the best and something like that. So how is this different? Knowing that I did not see it, so I don't know how it prevails in that respect. It'd be interesting about that.
So, Dr. Johnson was asking, how does this compare to other sports movies in the last decade? And I think it, in some ways, it definitely follows the established pattern of on-court and off-court, on-field and off-field plots. The protagonist is really she hit on her kind of on-court battle is with the tour organizers to start her own tour and have the equal pay issue. Her off-court battle is with her sexuality, and Marilyn, the hairdresser, they started to develop a relationship, and it's closeted, and then her husband finds out, and so in that sense, it's pretty classical following construction. But what's kind of amazing about that is I don't think you can have a generic, there aren't a lot of generic sports movies that have a woman in the protagonist role and somebody who's queer in that lead role. So even though it's maybe pretty mainstream, the social aspect of the protagonist changes what the mainstream is. That's right. What changes what we consider as mainstream and what seems normal. So in this movie, just that having a LGBT as a general hero, an American hero that everybody can look up to. That's I think what this movie is accomplishing by following a pretty conservative aesthetic.
He's asking if you're all right when you're conservative.
How do you all make you feel about what you kind of gathered from the movie is what kind of impacts are happening today because of that? Because this is still British. There's still effects that are happening in tennis, in culture, in society, in sport, in all of these things. Does anybody have an experience in sport?
There's back here. Great, so. Yeah.
You asked them how to experience sports.
Is that Cameron?
Yes, sir. Okay. I don't really have a question. I was just raising my hand because I have experience with sports.
Tell us about your experience as a man.
Okay, well, I played, I was like an 8-year-old. I played a lot of sports, but come high school, it was really just basketball. And basketball's pretty big in my family. My dad's a coach. My sister, she's playing now in high school. And I kind of, when what we saw in the movie, I forget who it was, but he says the men deserve more because they're more exciting. You guys touched on that with the NCAA. And I agree with what you were saying. The excitement comes from the drama, like the women's championship. You can't really find any purer drama than that. Notre Dame goes on an 8-0 run. It's a fadeaway 3 to win. That's pretty exciting. But for me personally, I kind of, aside from that, I prefer watching, I think, men's basketball because the players are more dynamic, if that's a fair thing to say. And my sister playing against her, I mean, she's good, she's better than me, she'll beat me. And that's kind of embarrassing because she's 14. But when I watch her play, I do feel like there is that extra element, whether it's the verticality or the athleticism or the dynamic, he can pull up and shoot from 35 feet away. I just feel like that's missing, and it kind of takes away a little bit for me.
May I ask why you favor that? Like why? I just maybe, but why? Where do you think that comes from? Why do you like that?
For me, like if I broke it down in terms of players, like Mississippi State has McGowan, she's 6'7", she plays in the post, she's an absolute beast. And I completely respect her and her game. I played with guys who were 6'7", but they were fast and explosive, and not because they were guys, but just in terms of, okay, McGowan and my teammate, they're both 6'7", but my teammate was more explosive. He could shoot it out to 30 feet, and he had a 40-inch vertical. So it was more just the unpredictability of, hey, this guy isn't all he seems. He can drive, he can shoot, he can cross you up. That's what makes it, the unpredictability of guys basketball, it makes it more exciting for me. Not that girls wasn't. Like, I fully tracked the entire female tournament up to the finals, and I was rooting for Notre Dame to upset UConn and all. But I prefer guys in general just because of that extra element of unpredictability. And hey, these guys aren't going to play exactly the way they look, whereas with girls, it's not easy, but it's easier to say, oh, she's 6'7", she's probably not going to shoot from 35 feet away. And she's not going to add that extra element to the game just yet, because she may blaze the trail. She may be the Steph Curry of that league, where he's kind of revitalized the three-point shooting. He's kind of turned the league on its head, and he's inspired kids now to copy his style. And she may go on to do that, but right now at that level, there's no one that she can imitate or mimic or can do that, if that makes sense.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate. So you essentially just said that you prefer the men's game because they're more dynamic, they do more things, their game is more exciting. But the reason that you just gave was that their big men can shoot. But that's a new facet to the men's basketball game. Shaq didn't shoot, and he retired a couple years ago, 5-10 years ago, I don't know. But it hasn't been very long.
Yeah.
And that kind of, like Howard, still playing. He can't shoot free throws. So the reasoning that you gave, to me, doesn't hold a whole lot of water, because the men's game, that's an evolution of the men's game. The men's game hasn't been that way. You're evolving with the game.
Absolutely. And I agree with you, but I'm 19, so really that's the only game I've seen. So I completely agree. It was an evolution. Wilt Chamberlain had one three. He didn't shoot. Shaq didn't shoot. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They were big dudes. They didn't shoot. They made their game in the paint. And the game evolved slowly. Guys like Anthony Davis and Karl Anthony Towns, and they're handling it like they're 6 foot. And I completely agree. That's an evolution of it. And I would say that's just kind of the game I've seen. I haven't really seen it from when it was big guys staying in the paint, not doing a whole lot. And so for me, whether it's because I haven't seen the evolution or I just came in, it's still more exciting to me though, because of that extra facet. If the women's game does change, and it's maybe it changes in a different way, but if there's another element of, UConn's not going to go 36-0, then it's one of those things where, okay, this is exciting, this is cool. For me, though, it still does go back to that. Even if it isn't an evolution, there is an element of unpredictability, of dynamic attitude to the guys.
And I don't think you're that far off what I would say any of your counterparts would say. I don't think you are. I think. What I would say is we have to look at how we were socialized into the sport of basketball, let's say. You said this is the game on you, and I know X years. But also just in terms of how we define, not just you, but as a culture, how we define excitement in sport and what it has to look like. And so again, I go back to that definition. Typically, it's a male standard. And so when we look at women under that lens, it's not the same. You're right, it's not as exciting. If you look at excitement, you define excitement like X, Y, Z. So at the beginning, I talked about how it's dangerous to get into this comparison. Women will lose. Here's an example. Now, while you watch the women's game, but you did admit that you prefer the men's, and you're not. There's a norm. I will say that. It's a very common response that we hear. And I also don't blame you and others if you look at the way the media has presented sport, and particularly men's sports versus women's sports. I mean, in terms of how commentators talk about men's performance, how they talk about being actor, how they highlight aspects of it, how they play into the sensationalization and the energy of it all. So it wasn't as if you just think this is exciting because you think it's exciting. You were socialized in that way.
I want to comment too. Thanks, Cameron, for sharing. Being brave. Because I think about the same thing. If I wanted to watch the most exciting basketball players, I would watch maybe, in my mind, I'm going to watch the NBA. I would never watch college men at all. Because why wouldn't I watch? I would just watch the NBA pros. The college players, they're less skilled, less trained, whatnot. But I don't do that. I watch them both. I'm inclined to watch college men in NBA less than WNBA. And that's where I feel that being socialized into a world of, when I open up my CBS Sports app, they don't have, it's just NCAA basketball, it doesn't even say men. The women just aren't talked about around it. There's no buzz.
So kind of playing to what you're talking about with like the news feeds and media representation of women's sports. So to switch the sport over to women's soccer, in 2015, the U.S. women's national team brought home the FIFA World Cup. And as Donald Trump was running for his presidency this past year, he tweeted out that America had never brought home a World Cup, which we had. But of course, everybody assumed that he was speaking of the men, in which case we haven't, but the women have brought home 3 World Cups. But it hasn't been sensationalized like it would be if it was the male team. On that note, also, the women who won the 2015 World Cup were paid less than the men who, in their respective World Cup, were knocked out in the first round. So that kind of goes into the unequal pay. There are men who are knocked out in the first round and sensationalized. They're on Jimmy Fallon, they're on the Tonight Show, and the women just kind of fade out. Nobody ever hears from them. These guys are going on TV, doing interviews and stuff, having huge Nike promotions and stuff like that, and the women are just swept to the side. And like Mr. Wiedenfeld was saying, that he would rather watch NBA than college. For women, there's the NWSL that's hardly promoted at all. It's not on mainstream channels, and so you really have to dig on the internet to find it. There's not a lot of professional leagues, and college sports just doesn't all either get that representation for women at all.
Go back to sports. Use dash.
Yeah.
There you go.
There was also recently a similar thing that happened that everyone just said, well, this is the first time 16 seeds But there was, in the 90s, a 16 seed beat a 1 seed in the women's bracket. And nobody really even knows it. But we only talk about these things. We talk about them.
We do that with the world performance that even in a world sense with the American football where they do speak. Why are you playing American football?
How the sport that what it is, which like they can't play for the season. There haven't been played for the big but it's not. Some girls from some age.
Why not?
My perception is that women practice sports. There are girls that do that. Absolutely, yeah, there absolutely are, but they absolutely totally go to that.
So we are the same thing in soccer.
Well, football also, for American football, there's kind of spin-off leagues
Yeah,
for
there are
women
women's leagues.
that are like lingerie,
Yeah.
kind of leagues. So I think that also too, yeah, it plays into this idea that football's for men and if women do it, it's for the men. So then, I mean, that's kind of its own thing.
Yeah, but what the point that I'm trying to make, I was going to create a women football team. Should I expect equal pay for the pay? Yes.
But anywhere near that, I think.
No, but should I?
I would say that usually in comparison to soccer, I would say absolutely equal one, absolutely. So absolutely, I think if we have a scenario where it's consistent and absolutely.
You can start to kind of see it with the aggressive sports in MMA, where there's now, especially with UFC and Ronda Rousey and Cyborg, the women's MMA sphere is really starting to grow. They're starting to get some face recognition, name recognition. See, some of them are now Ronda Rousey, they're in for Cyborg, are demanding more money. And MMA is also interesting, and because every fight is a new contract. So every fight they get to renegotiate their terms. So you can see them progressing through their career literally in terms of what they, their first fight was versus what their last fight was. But they still make, I don't know the exact number, they make half from the numbers that I've seen. Some of them, there's bonuses and stuff that go into MMA as well. Rarely, I don't know that I've ever seen fight of the night or knockout of the night go to the night. Those that I've seen have gone to
It brings up an interesting aspect of business and the business of how the pay is determined, especially the soccer that you bring up. And where the pay comes is from both ticket sales and broadcast rights, people watching and advertising. And the excuse for men getting paid more is that, there's more men who are watching on TV or more men who are going to games, which is probably true now, but from a business perspective, where is the potential for growth? A lot of people say that men are already saturated with sports. If you watch a lot of sports now, are you going to start watching more men's soccer? Are you going to watch less NFL and more soccer? Or you're already watching as many men's sports as possible. Whereas there might be a lot more potential viewers for women watching sports that haven't been found yet. The kind of local market that we're in, unless somebody takes that big risk to invest in the big event market to this whole audience around women's sport, it's never going to grow, and it's going to be dragging behind men. So that kind of free market dynamic is not the way things are as set by capital. Those things can change. Where is the room for growth? There's a lot of things. especially in soccer. And it's sad that the dash and the WSL don't get marketed anywhere near as much as the Dayna. In fact, they're on, you go to the Houston Dash website, it's under HoustonDynamo.com, a subordinate, even on the website itself. But all of those leagues are in a precarious position now, where they will continue for years.
The culture is where, environment, young girls or women in football education, there absolutely are some, historically it's not something that women have been introduced to, it's not but it is changing. If you look at the popularity of MMA, and you think of overtly aggressive sports, that's part of why women have not been welcomed into those treatments as participants. Because we as a society historically been very comfortable with that type of physicality for women. It's not appropriate. Now you see what women are doing in MMA and other what I would consider more aggressive sports. And obviously society's changing. We as a culture, each generation is becoming a lot more progressive in terms of their openness to allowing women to have more access and the right to participate. There's still a long way to go, absolutely. There's conditions that come with that. So there's a reason why Ronda Rousey is very, very good, but there's her success and her popularity is also backed up for appearance, for sexuality, and so as is common in many industries, all sports, really good. Their comments, questions.
All right. Well, if you all are interested in seeing the movie still, look out for an email. You will likely get one from me again about when, where you can watch the movie. But thank you all for coming. If you have to get your slips verified, make sure that you stop by the table out there before you leave to get it signed. Also, if you're interested in sports broadcasting, there's also some pamphlets that you can pick up. To get some more information if you want to see what that's all about.